Hello, this is the BBC News. I'm in Libya. I'm the journalist Canon. As we know, the conflict between the Gaddafi government and the anti-government force become more and more seriously. Now, let's see the situation in demonstration scene of Libya. Now, I will interview the protester and how they think the government what they did and the protester what they think. So now let's see. I will interview the protesters and why the protesters revolted in Libya and why they against the Gaddafi government.
Libya Revolution is part of Arab Spring, which is a revolutionary wave of demonstrations and protest civil wars in the Arab world that began on 18 December 2010. The Libyan Revolution was a 2011 armed conflict in the North African country of Libya, fought between forces loyal to Gaddafi and those people who seeking to oust his government. Although Gaddafi made a great contribution on Libya's development in his 42 years rule, some problems between Gaddafi government and the society were still revealed. First of all is corruption. Gaddafi and his families are adopting lavish lifestyles, including luxury home and Hollywood film investments, and also they have private parties with American pop stars. Hello, my president.
Hello, my finance chancellor. Have a seat.
Thank you, my president.
What's going on with my country's finance?
Our country's finance. Okay. Actually, my president, recently Libya's finance situation is not that good because many people are not satisfied with our high tax revenue. You can have a look.
Just ignore them.
No, sorry, my president. I think you cannot ignore citizens. People will not. People will reward our government. It is not good for Libya's development.
Wait a moment. Have you ready for Taylor Swift party?
Taylor Swift party?
Yeah.
I've already told her, but she wants a very high price.
High price?
Yeah.
How much is it?
3 billion.
3 billion? Okay. Take it.
That's 3 billion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you going to party tonight with me?
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Secondly is Gaddafi's dictatorship. Gaddafi has held power for 42 years since 1969. Several foreign governments and analysts state that a large share of business companies was controlled by Gaddafi and his families and the government. Libyan economic likes a household economic in which the government, either the Gaddafi family itself or its close political allies, has a direct stake in anything worth buying, selling, and owning. According to the U.S. officials, Gaddafi amassed a vast personal fortunes during his 42 years leadership.
What do you think the government to respond to the citizens? That is necessary or not? And what the government did for the protesters?
The protesters' demonstration against Gaddafi's 42 years rule was focused on the second largest city of Libya, which is Benghazi, and the security forces opened fire in Benghazi, on Friday when the protesters get close, and the Libyan government will use compounds to stop them. The Libyan government has used tear gas to clean the area when the protesters stay outside the courthouse, and the Libyan government has been reported to have employed snipers, helicopter gunships, warships against the protester of demonstration. Sometimes the protester was not allowed to access to hospitals and ambulance transport, and the government also banned giving blood transfusion to people who had taken part in the demonstration. In May 2011, International Criminal Court estimated that 500 to 700 people was killed by security force in February 2011. Lots of citizens was killed by government in different ways. For example, like gunshot and using fire to burn them. All in all, it's blood everywhere in Libya in 2011. How does the social media has been used by protesters? If the protester use it, why has it not been used extensively? And when does the protester to start to use it? Otherwise, what kind of measure do government do for the social media?
Social media is a new tool in rallying for the revolution and igniting fear within Middle East countries. After the Egyptian revolution used the social media platforms as effective means to stand up the dissent, Libya quickly catch out on to the trending strategy and using social media as an arm for the protests. But Gaddafi understands the threat of social media power and the influence it has revolutions, and he has arrested activists and encourage dissent of the regime. Even that the activists in Libya has created Twitter accounts to correct the fair information that is circulating despite the Gaddafi orders. They found the social media as a way to provide their own news feed and footage of the protests, and to stand against the government in support of the revolution. Look, our organization put the news on Facebook.
Yes, I see. We can always see the information about the empty government.
Yeah, however, the Gaddafi government tried to ban the information about us. But we can still see, we can still have a conversation on the Facebook.
Oh yes. There's a demonstration this weekend. Do you want to join us?
Of course. Yeah, sure.
You guys want to join the demonstration?
Oh,
Are you sure?
oh, government, army. Oh, run! Come on.
Stop running! Stop running!
Have the human rights of the protester been violated?
Obviously, the human rights of protesters were violated in it. According to the figures released by the government, 31 people died and nearly 300 people injured on Friday in the bloodiest day in the Libya capital since the fall of Tripoli in 2011. These protesters' lives were violated. In other words, the protesters' human rights were violated.
We need freedom. We need free human rights. Government is dead. Let me go.
No, we can't let you continue.
Why?
This is government house. You cannot get in.
demonstration. Lots of people from Libya has been killed by government in different ways. So almost all the citizens are not satisfied with the Libyan government. They want to protect their own freedom and their human rights. The contradiction between government and citizens is become worse and worse. So the war happened.
Government crew.
No, we need.
No, okay, you can eat. No, no.
We want freedom. We want freedom. Gaddafi government, get down. Get out. Freedom.